What's up, crew gang? It's Karasu with the video of the week, and this week, as promised, we're going to look at a team other than Fnatic. We're diving into NA, the NA Challenger scene actually, a scene that's very interesting in my mind. There's a lot of potential there with M80, the Guard, and G2, but a very pleasant surprise to the league has been Moist Moguls, especially after getting picked up by Most Critical and Ludwig. They definitely upped their level. This week's breakdown, we look at their long B rush on BEARL, specifically against TSM at the mid-season face-off. In round 16, I'll show you the most picture-perfect example of this rush. It's against an eco, yes, but it's still a really cool execute. So let's go and run it in real time. There's a fake start across. There's a flash to dissuade any early aggression. There's this cross wall that's pretty basic. He does it every time, Flya, and he's gonna have two really cool mollies as well, which I'll showcase here. So I'll show these lineups at the end of the video if you want. So these mollies are gonna land one here and one here. You see that Brock, he's gonna dog through the site, and Sim, he's throwing his nade to complement this molly here. So that what that does, it kind of funnels 7 into fighting this angle, which Sim complements that with, oh no, actually he's gonna throw a boombot for screens, but he's gonna double satchel into this angle where 7 is funneled into. There's 2 smokes as well, you can't forget that, from Thief, and he's also gonna complement the B-Link molly with a stun. So lots of good utility here. Satchel by Sim, he fights 7, again he's funneled into this angle, and with a Sheriff, close range, it's pretty tough to land this. And there's a stun there, and this is a Sim show where he destroys everybody. It's a really good execute. Honestly, I feel that it's really well thought out, and well, TSM, they don't have an answer to it in this round. So Moist Moguls, they have 2 variations to this execute, depending mostly on the ults that they have. The first variation is when they have Raise ult, and Sim switches up his pathing. But in terms of the early round, it's very similar. It's actually identical. Fake smoke, flash. They take no risks here, and they use Sky ult as well, which pushes Corey off of the angle. And this wall also bothers the TSM's vision. Very similar so far. And this is when it kind of changes. So these smokes are up for Thief. The wall is up as well. So this dog is going to go through all the way back side. There's still a Flya's molly here. And Sim, he's not going to need here. He's going to need here. So that really traps nature here. And as you can see, so he paths with the dog. He gets the kill on nature. Again, this wall was up while he was doing this, because this wall is supposed to cut off vision from Kenpiki, but I think he still gets a kill through the wall with some spam damage. But regardless, they have site control, and again, very nice of him to change his pathing and make this execute a little more unpredictable. The second variation is when they have Astral Wall. We're gonna play it through. Because of this early harbor wall, although they've done it multiple times, TSM, but I think it's really because of this flash from Kenpiki that they flash a bit earlier, Moguls. So Brock, he flashes a bit earlier out of the fake smoke, and it kind of bothers Corey here. He gets mollied off as well. And this is a variation that I wanted to show. This is a nice kill. I think this wall is especially a good call in this round because Flya, he drops early on, so obviously the Viper wall is out of the round here. So having this Astral wall with a stun here, and as well as a KJ molly, as you'll see a bit later on, this is their variation. So this is a bit awkward, but still, as you can see, there's a molly here. From a proto, there was a stun right before, so this is an easy plant, and it's all about playing the pulse plant. But you know, in the 4v2 at this point, it's an easy round for Moist. TSM had no answers during this game, but to their credit, they have tried to approach the problem in many ways. Like for example, in this round, actually TSM they get the first kill, and then they play kind of like a retake setup. But Moist they adjust well, and they actually pressure into defender spawn, and they win the round in that way. So they understand that they can't just play the 4v5 without relieving the pressure. As you can see here, they bring the action to spawn, and there's a miscom actually by Guimont here, which lets nature down. That's a kind of a miscom, and then he gets a trade. If we go back to round 17, good strategy in my mind would be to maintain backside control, but again, nature, he kind of doesn't see the change in pathing here, which is really hard to predict. Obviously he gets killed, so he loses backside control. In this round, TSM try to get close and bring the fight to them thanks to the harbor wall, but Moist Moguls, they have the read and they use the dog really early on. Usually, like I showed before, they use the dog a lot later to clear the site. But especially against an eco, they don't take any risks, and this is a catastrophe for TSM. It's a really effective strat, but there are definitely ways to manage better or straight up to counter it. If we go back to round 16, that shows exactly where Moist Moguls want to land. You know, the spacing isn't ideal. Sim is the tip of the spear, and nobody's there to trade him in this case. Obviously, they set him up for success, but the team, you know, is only able to scale thanks to the space that he gains. You know, if we look at this fight, I mean, Seven has a sheriff, which is not ideal for this situation, but imagine if, for example, he would have an alarm bot here with a molly, or if he doubles up with someone with 2 rifles in the backside, they would be able to maintain backside control, and that would stop this crisscross that he's able to have Sim. So he has a cross here, his teammates can watch this, so there's a crisscross kind of thing happening. So if that's stopped, where they maintain backside control TSM, they can deny the plant, or it's a lot easier overall to retake. In this round, it's a really good way again to deal with the tip of the spear. Back to that notion that Sim, there's a heavy reliance on the success for this strat's success. This high trap is really cool by Dicey. It looks strange, obviously. You would think to yourself, well, this is way too high, but who's gonna like crouch underneath here? Nobody. And also it's effective to avoid the Sky Dog from Brock, so really effective use of it. As you can see, it's gonna cancel out completely Sim. He gets killed, and this hit becomes a bit flat, sort of. Again, using your sentinel to good use into countering the tip of the spear, I think it's a really good approach. So again, in this scenario, the trip was really effective. If it's a killjoy that you have, instead you put an alarm bot here with a molly, for example, that's really good too. Another really nice approach was this round from M80, where you know, when you think about this wall and how to counter it, you know, this wall is so effective in terms of denying vision. So it denies vision B-Link if there's somebody, you know, creeping. You know, if somebody wants to watch B-Link, well, this wall bothers him in that sense. It also denies vision if you want to help out the guy backside, as I mentioned before. And well, obviously this whole section is can't see belong, but also this choke point here, it's supposed to deny vision of somebody backside where Koala is, but he finds a nice detour to it. But obviously you need Jet Knives to do so, but still it's really well thought out. You can see this was all set up because Nismo actually complements this with a flash. Then he gets first blood for M80. You see they're all blind. He gets a kill on a proto who was way back, so that's first blood. And as I've shown before in terms of you know, the TSM round, where I mentioned that Guimont had a miscom, they know M80 that once Moist Moguls they lose a man, they try to relieve the pressure by going into spawn, to aggress into a defender spawn. And to counter that, well, they stack up heavily in that choke point. See, this is total war. There's Treepers here to counter this aggression. So that's a really nice counter to a counter that Moist Moguls are formulating. At the end of the day, Moist Moguls, they got eliminated by eventual runner-ups G2, which concluded a respectable placement in the first split of the NA Challengers. Nonetheless, I feel that this team has a lot of potential, so look out for this up-and-comer. That's it for this week's video. As always, I appreciate your time, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Crow Gang, we out.